guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Kenro here, and of course I'm joined by my lovely wife Sapphire, as today is a very special day for us and of course for you patient people who have been watching and waiting to see the final reveal of our kitchen renovation project as well as our living room.
So if you're new to our channel, I want to encourage you to like, share, subscribe and just keep sharing the love. We have so much to share today.
Finally. It just feels like so long ago. We have been taking our time for various reasons, and one of them, Sapphire wasn't well for a period of time during this renovation project, and so much has been going on. You know, having a young family, you've got to kind of work with things as they are, and you know, go with the flow, so to speak. So although we're a bit behind schedule, better late than never. As promised, today we'll be showing you what our kitchen and our living room looks like after the renovation, and we are so happy with how everything's turned out, and we hope that you too will be inspired if you've got a similar project going on. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
So as you can see, we are in our fabulous sapphire blue, navy blue kitchen. It's absolutely amazing, Kendra. Thank you so much. You know when you get gifted with a gift that you didn't even know you wanted? Honestly, it is beautiful. And at the start of the year, I was so unwell, still going through the woods just the same, but to see what you've done as a husband, as a dad, as an employee, it's been amazing. So honestly, I have to publicly tell you thank you.
Wow, do you know what? It's not been easy. So initially when we started this project at the beginning of the year, as you probably remember, I'll put a link to the video that we did when we went to the Wren's kitchen showroom. We always knew that we wanted to modernize and renovate our cottage, especially the downstairs. And we had planned that Sapphire and I would take our time and would work together as much as we could to, you know, strip the wallpaper, get rid of the tiles and paint and so on. We'd of course definitely get a builder in for some of the more complex part of the build. But unfortunately during this time, Sapphire was not very well because she suffered a slip disc. And you know, you guys have seen the video, again, check that out if you haven't before. It was a really challenging time, so I had to look after the girls as well as look after Sapphire during this time, so it was really tricky. And yeah, to be honest, I just want to thank God, because it's only by His grace that we're able to come through. Not stressed, I didn't lose the rest of my hair, and, and the kids are both still alive, so that must be an achievement. So it was really an interesting experience, to say the least. That's, I think, really built our relationship and just made us appreciate life more. One
thing I've learned this year, can you believe we're halfway through the year already?
Yeah,
unbelievable. But every accomplishment, big or small, starts with a decision. I know at the start of the year, when you decided that, wow, sales are on,
yeah,
we knew that the flooring especially was what we wanted to change, and we're still working on the potty training, which was the main reason for getting the flooring, because the splinters and stuff were real. But again, adulting is real, but you know, with every decision, every accomplishment, it starts with a decision. So sometimes you just have to go with your gut feeling. For us as believers, we take it to God in prayer and we seek Him for discernment. And you know, I'm not so good at times taking risks, but sometimes you do have to just make that decision and go with it. And for us, if it is the right decision, I know that God will bless it, and you'll see how it will be a blessing to others. So
a lot of time when you're doing projects like this, you know, you want to try and do it as cost effective as possible. Now, I don't know if it's just us, but you start a project hoping to do, say, 5 things, and you end the project doing 10 or 20. And that's kind of happened to us a little bit, and we'll talk a bit more about that later. We also wanted to do this within budget, or try and save as much money as possible. I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but there is a cost of living crisis at the moment, and we certainly haven't got tons of cash just lying around. So we wanted to just trim the fat, as it were, and you know, bring this project in as cheap as we possibly could. That started by getting this lovely kitchen in the sales. And the next thing was for us, well, kind of ended up just being me because Sapphire wasn't well, doing most of the bits and pieces around the house, like remove. do that one over again. So Sapphire and I were supposed to try our best and do as much of the DIY as possible, which would obviously lower the cost and limit the amount of stuff that the builder had to do. We were still able to do as much as we could, like removing the tiles, stripping the wallpaper, doing the painting. I've even kind of learned how to do some electrical work, which, you know,
top
it's a great
electrician.
skill. If I do say so myself. Everything is working as it should, so we're super happy. And perhaps in another video, we'll spend some time talking about the cost of how much this all came up to. So do look out for that video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can see that video as soon as it's out, because trust me, building work is expensive, like more expensive than you would think. One of the main things that we wanted to achieve on this project with the budget is to try and come in under £15,000 as low as we possibly could. I mean, I was pushing for 10, so I still need to crunch the numbers and to see whether or not we were able to achieve that, because I read somewhere that the average price of renovating a ground floor kitchen and to some extent the living room is around £24,000, which, I mean, yeah, that's a lot of money.
Boy, I didn't know kitchens were that expensive.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Just go down to IKEA and get a few things.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, because we haven't got a huge kitchen and we didn't go super premium or anything, we did get a really good deal, I felt, and especially speaking to other people.
Yeah, no, of course. And because you've done a lot of the work yourself, or did I do most of it?
Yeah, Sapphire did most of the work, because I'm sure you've seen in all the videos, guys. Do check them out.
Might need to go to Specsavers.
So yeah, today we thought that we'll finally just go through and show you what we've done, how it's all come together, and hopefully, like I said, you guys will be inspired that if we can do it, you know, you guys can certainly do it too.
And a point to note, it was a great opportunity for Kenroy to declutter. I don't know, if like you, if like me, so many things in the drawers and tucked away and little back packets of this and little, and so many containers. Oh my gosh.
Honestly.
He had a field day knowing that I was not well, but I quite enjoyed it as well, actually.
Yeah, renovation projects are a fabulous way for you to just get rid of stuff, and yeah,
we're still working on it. So when it comes to making massive decisions like, you know, refurbishing a kitchen or getting new units or anything, sometimes things don't go according to plan. I know when we first visited Ren, we were going for these beige cupboards, and they were lovely, shiny and
easy to clean.
Easy to clean, we were thinking. And then I guess we had to choose the tiles. And Kenroy really got me out of my comfort zone, because I was like, no, we'll just go for some, it was like a concrete effect tiles, very plain. But Kenroy said, why not have a bit of pattern and a bit of colour? And it just brought me back to, wow, you know, growing up in Jamaica, a bit more vibrancy. So yeah, that was the inspiration for the tiles. And then that allowed us to be like, navy cupboards. I always, as long as Kenroy has known me, when I look at kitchens, I always love a bit of yellow with lots of navy. And when we went to Ren, the higher premium brand was called Sapphire. So I was really excited. And we managed to find something within our budget that looked just like the Sapphire. It's called the navy. I don't know what the other bits are called. But yes, this is our kitchen. Lovely, really lovely, honestly. I tried to remember how it looked before. And as much as I loved it because it had that beautiful cottage feel, I didn't really realise, you know, it's amazing how you don't sometimes see the imperfections of things when you're in love with it. Yeah. So, as they say, beauty is in the eyes. No, not you.
Are you having a dig at me right now, live on camera?
Beauty, darling, is in the eyes of the beholder, thank God.
So first things first, we knew that we needed to get rid of our old stable door. While it looked so nice and was so charming, it just wasn't practical. And even though it was the last thing that we actually did on this project, it was probably one of the most beneficial, because now we've got a door that is more energy efficient, and more importantly, it opens outside, which is just something that we thought was just a must. So whereas before it sort of opened inward and it will always be an obstacle.
With small spaces,
you know? It wasn't practical
the door would
at
be
all.
here and
So when it opened inwards, the door would be in the way, and it just wasn't working. So that was the first thing. And now that it opens outwards, it's absolutely perfect because it makes the kitchen and the space feel so much bigger than it is, I suppose. And that's something that we really like.
And the energy efficiency. So we'll be experiencing our first winter with our new door. Well, not too soon, hopefully. But no, there's no draft coming through.
Do you remember?
One thing I know, we have to support our partners in their decisions. So in order to have an accomplishment, you have to have a decision. Sometimes also, you have to have a strong wife behind you. But honestly, you actually fitted this to the wall. This is just surreal.
It's not fully done.
Like with the rose gold.
Yeah.
Detail, like what?
I think it's like a sort of brushed copper finish.
Copper, that's it.
I mean, while doing this kitchen now, we're no interior designers by any stretch. We're pretty simple. We like things to look nice like anybody else.
But you got an eye for detail though.
Sometimes. When we were choosing the cupboards and we realised that we're going to go for the copper handles to contrast, I thought it would be nice to actually change the light switches because they were a bit old. You know, those white ones started to go a bit yellow. And I thought, let's get something new. And I'm not sure how we stumbled upon these, but they're by a company called Trendy. And they're sold in, I think, Homebase and online. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check them out.
And really reasonable as well.
So the face plates are detachable, which I'm hoping to be able to demonstrate now without breaking them.
Oh wow! Oh gosh!
Yep, that's it. And you can just clip them off. You can change the color, you can do different mix and match and so on. And you know, the lights and everything still works with or without the faceplate, but obviously you want to make sure these are on. And once you're done...
Oh wow, just like that.
How cool are those, honestly?
Gosh, I need to believe in you more.
And in a few years when they get all grubby and everything, hopefully you can just take them off, buy some new ones, maybe even change the color if you want. It's really cool.
I wouldn't mind some dim lights. You can learn how to do that.
It's never ending.
Next up, as you know, we've got our repurposed radiator. Looks new, actually been commented on. Like, oh gosh, you got a new radiator. Nope, Kenroy had the amazing idea of painting it over, raising it, and it's absolutely amazing. Like, it's amazing the things that you can repurpose and use again when you really just put some thought into it. So yeah, nothing that a little bit of elbow grease can't improve.
So one of the things that we were planning on doing is changing some of the appliances, but in the end we decided to keep our fridge because in order to get one of those fancy new integrated ones, it was going to be so expensive, and in the end we decided to just stick with what we've got. And the fridge was one of the things that we actually kept. Now I was planning on actually painting it with the same blue color paint to match the cupboards, which probably would look really good, but at the moment we decided to just leave it as it is. But who knows, maybe in the future video guys, I might give that a go, as I've never actually painted a fridge before. But it does the job and it still works perfectly for us, and we were able to still have it slotted in the same spot which it was before.
Next up we have our sink, and what is a kitchen without a sink? And better yet, what is a kitchen without a deep sink? Now, again, another repurposed item. It was the best decision that we ever made to keep our sink, because sinks are so expensive and also very shallow. Well, unless you can dish out quite a bit. So what we did, which was an amazing idea when they did the digital plans, was to flip where the sink is positioned. So we used to have our drainer that side, but as you can see, our countertop is a little bit limited. So turning it this way, it's just been amazing, absolutely amazing. I actually love having, you know, a clear space here and having our drainage here. So one of our main criteria when we decided to get a new kitchen was to maximize the storage space. And that was amazing to see how they could do all the measurements on the computer and show you what it would look like. And now we have it here in the flesh. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know, are they tiny enough to show?
Yeah, let's not open them.
No, but what I love is how wide like these drawers are. Massive!
Yeah, I mean, you could probably fit in these drawers, to be
Hey!
fair. one of the things that we were after the most was storage. Now if you can remember, just below the sink we had a free space where the previous owner used to use as a space for a refrigerator. Now when we moved in, we simply used it to store all our vegetables and so on. We've now utilised that and actually put a cupboard there, which has made a huge difference. Another place where we've actually improved and added extra cupboards is just above our new table. This one's been a real game changer because we now have so much more storage than we had before. It sits just above the table where we normally have our breakfast and eat our meals. It's fully functional, so there's no issues there whatsoever. Okay, so up next is the cooking area, which has just been absolutely amazing. We now have a 5-ring cooker, which Sapphire has always wanted, to be fair, just to have the space. Even though, you know, as we're from the West Indies, we love to cook in our big pots for our families. And so the tiny little 4-ring cooker hub just wasn't cutting it. So now we can have huge pots on different sides of the cooker with plenty of space. And yeah, we've been really happy with this Zanussi hub. At first I thought it was a bit flimsy, and for the money that we spent on it, that it wasn't going to be really good. But so far it's been really good. So nothing to worry about there.
And another star of our kitchen is our rustic copper splashback. So the idea was Ken Roy's, and I was like, oh, a splashback, and we found this amazing company. I guess you shared links to it.
Yeah.
It just complements the kitchen so nicely with the copper handles, and there's little hints of blue, and it's also amazing keeping the space looking very clean.
So the final new appliance that we have in the kitchen is our oven. Now we kind of went for a bit of a downgrade this time because we had a double oven before, and again, to maximize on space and to save on cost, rather than reusing our old double oven, which to be honest was in perfect working order, the guy at Ren's Kitchen basically said to us that it will be cheaper for us to just downgrade to a new single one and have storage at the top and the bottom, rather than actually buying a new double oven encasement or covered tower thing, whatever it's called. And so we decided to just go for that. Even though we use our oven, you know, we don't use it as much as some families probably do, you know, having like the grill going and the oven at the same time and so on. We're perfectly fine just using one. I'm glad we actually did that because it saved us some money. We got a new oven which apparently cleans itself.
Oh yes, self-cleaning. We're yet to use it though.
Sapphire has been saying that we're definitely going to give that a go. But whether or not it works, we've got a brand new oven and we're super happy about it. And the old one, the best thing about it is that rather than just chucking it away, we were able to give it to a friend, a neighbour who just lives up the street, who needed a new one. So it worked out really well in the end. We're super happy with our oven. Now this oven was by CDA, which is a company that we've never actually used before. But so far so good, no issues whatsoever, and we're really happy.
So the first thing you notice as you come into our living room, apart from it being really homely, is how bright it is, and that definitely goes to Ken Roy for his amazing painting skills. Man, it really looks great.
Yeah, I mean, we originally were thinking about actually removing the wallpaper from in here, but we were really scared to see what was going to be lurking underneath. This is an old 1870s cottage, and whenever you see a property that has wallpaper, you never know what's going to be under it. So it was a huge risk for us to take in removing that wallpaper, as we weren't sure whether or not we were going to have to replaster the entire room. But luckily, when we removed the wallpaper, all that was underneath was some fresh plaster, which was a godsend really.
It really was a surprise.
I mean, they had a few weird drawings and stuff on there, but
numberings.
yeah, people were doing their maths lessons or something. But apart from that, it was in pretty good condition. Now, of course, it wasn't perfect with all the lumps and bumps and imperfections, but as you can see around us, it looks absolutely amazing now that it's painted. So again, one of the major decisions was, now that we've decided on the tile, was what colour should our walls be? And there I was, plain Janeish, and there I was thinking, oh, well, it was sort of in a cream colour, so like magnolia, but that didn't hit it for Kenroy. So I was tasked yet again to look at the tiles and to see how we could add a bit more colour into the property. So yes, what did we do? So we went on to Lick, and the prices were around £40, £45 per tin. I think it was like 2.5 litre. And we had a cheeky idea of going over to Homebase because they had a promotion at 3 for 2, and we decided to take those colour samples that we got over to Homebase. They were able to colour match them perfectly really, and then that's how we ended up getting our paints at a much cheaper rate. We ended up buying 2 tins at £30 each, so that's £60, and we got the third for free. So that's the paint for in the living room and the light blue paint in the kitchen to match the tiles. So that's just a little tip for you guys. If you've got a colour, Homebase do have a colour matching scheme which is actually really good, and it's quite affordable as well on their Dulux paint. Dulux is a good brand, and we're really happy with it. We've already had some marks on the wall from the kids, some writings, and we're able to just wipe it off, and you know, it didn't damage the paintwork, which is really good. Something that was new to me, not an expert painter like Kenroy, is all the different types of paint. So as Kenroy said, you want something that's quite durable, the colour will last quite long. I think we were advised on using eggshell paint. So yeah, and here it is. Yeah, really happy with how it's turned out so far. So another little subtle detail which we've added for a bit of colour and a bit of effect is that the skirting boards, which normally were sort of like your generic brown wooden colour, to save on cost we decided to reuse our skirting boards, which in most cases is fine. But what we also decided to do was to get a piece of the timber, piece of the wood from the cupboards in the kitchen, and colour match it so that we could actually have that blue, dark blue accent running throughout not just the kitchen but also the living room. So as you can see, the skirting boards coming into the living room underneath the radiator, even behind the sofa, has also got that blue finish which we have from in the kitchen. So just that's a little tip as well if you want to just change things up and make it a bit more unique. It could really work well in your favour. So that's something else we've done on the painting side of things. And an important point is when it doesn't cost a lot to make a huge difference, and especially when you can do it yourself. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the average cost to paint a room this size is around £400. So from start to finish. So you know, it pays to do these things yourself. It's literally just rubbing the paint on the wall. And as long as you've got the time and the patience, trust me, your bank account will thank you. Okay, so in order to save ourselves some more money, replacing radiators is super expensive, and we hadn't actually budgeted to replace any of them. So what I decided to do is to have a little search online, and it turns out that you can easily paint your radiators for a few quid. You know, the biggest investment will be buying a tin of paint, metal paint that you can actually use. And it was so easy to actually get these radiators sanded down and painted. So just like we did in the kitchen, we decided to do the same with the one in the living room. And we're really happy with how it's turned out. So far, it's been great. We haven't used it much, obviously, because we're in the warmer months now, but that painting smell is all but gone now. And again, if you're looking at changing up the style and the aesthetics of a room, painting the radiator can be a great way to do that, as you can use it to match the color of the walls or the tiles, or perhaps a feature piece in the living room. So yeah, something that we were definitely happy with. Now, if you haven't seen some of the videos of me actually removing these radiators, sanding them down and painting them, do check those out. I'll put the link in the description above if you're thinking of doing the same. And trust me, it is no way as difficult as you know you would think it is. In fact, you can even paint them while still attached to the wall. So definitely do that if you're thinking about sprucing up a room. It's a great way to go. So another feature that we have in the living room, which was something that we weren't sure what we were going to do with, was the fireplace. Now a lot of you have mentioned through the course of these videos that you love the fireplace, and so do we. It looks really nice. It's a lovely feature in the living room, and as such we wanted to keep it, but of course try and spruce it up a little bit on a budget, of course. And so Sapphire and I, we had the task of figuring out what tiles to actually put in front of the fireplace, as we removed the original quarry tiles which were there before. And I like to think that although it's a bit quirky, it certainly is in keeping with our style, in the fact that we were able to find some tiles relatively inexpensively that matches the greens and the blues which are in the fireplace itself. So yeah, we're really happy with it. So at the start we weren't sure on what to do in terms of what tiles to choose, and I think that this is something that Sapphire and I struggled with, versus going super quirky or just keeping it bog standard. But we figured in the end we sort of settled on trying to match the colour scheme of the tiles. But what was it about it that you really struggled with?
They say without a vision the people perish. Honestly, I was like, how can you put blue and green tiles on this multicolored Oxford style tiles?
Yeah.
But it actually works because it blends with the tiles above, which I guess are original tiles.
Yeah.
So no, honestly, I think this whole project has allowed me to appreciate colour and eye for detail, and actually not to really think about what others may say, and just if you're happy with it, do it. So
absolutely.
No, it's been really good.
And I think even the builder said it, you know, at the end of the day, whatever you like, this is your home.
Yeah.
If somebody else moves in the future, it's up to them to change whatever colour scheme or style they like. And so yeah, now it's absolutely fantastic, and we're really big at the moment on having plants in our home to give it that more organic and natural feel. And so now having the tiles there along with surrounded by the plants, it really looks amazing. So we're definitely on to a winner there, and so far so good.
And last but not least, the reason why I married you, Kenroy. Your brain is beautiful. He came up with understairs storage. For those of you who have limited space at home and have children, and there's jackets, and there's all these things, you now have somewhere where they're nicely housed. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely.
This has by far been like the biggest treat during the course of this project. Of course, we weren't even planning on having, literally, like I said at the beginning, we had like 5 things to achieve, and we ended up doing like 10. And this was one of them, and I'm glad we did in the end. It costed us a bit more because it wasn't budgeted for, but I mean, it speaks for itself really. The fact that we got all of this storage, all of the functionality that it brings, and it's all tucked away just by a simple pull.
Wow. Amazing.
It's all revealed, which is just absolutely phenomenal.
So previously, before we had this, we had a coat hanger here. And when you imagine, the door is right there, you know. And then we had a shoe stand. And then what else did we have?
Then we had a unit over in that corner over there, which housed all of the arts and crafts and the overspill from the kitchen and the appliances that you don't use all the time. You sort of store them in there, and it really just made the living room feel so much smaller than it actually is.
Blender, mixer.
And then they had arts and craft, PVA glue, and it's just like, it just became the place to just store so much things that probably we didn't need half of them. And now to be able to have all of that encompassed in just this one space is really good. And let's face it, most of the time underneath the stairs, can't really do much under there. We're really happy with how it's turned out. We're able to just have the coats with little hangers hung on the side here, so as we're going through the door we can grab a jacket and head on out. We've got hooks for the kids as well, so they can reach their jackets and their coats as they're heading out. And the good thing is our shoes and stuff, rather than just having them in the corner somewhere, we can actually store them in the drawers, which again...
And then you made something else to put the shoes, I tell you, Henry.
Yeah, so you know, we were able to just use a bit of... actually went to Argos and bought a shoe stand, but it was just a bit too big, so I had to DIY it and cut it and fix it, actually assemble it in the drawer because they don't come all the way out. But now at least we have somewhere to keep our shoes and stuff, which is what it's all about. So yeah, we're happy.
So Kenroy, I've got a question for you, because I am not as creative and inventive as you are. So for those of us who are not as good at DIY, what would you say would be a starting point?
I think that starting point, and you know on this channel we do a lot of DIY stuff. A starting point is start with something that you know you can do. Whether it's a picture frame on the wall, you know, practice how to maybe drill a hole and attach something to the wall.
Did you say drill a hole?
That's another story. But whatever you can do, no matter how simple it is, whether it's to put up a shelf or a clock or a mirror, and then once you got that skill, just keep building on it. Learn how to cut a piece of wood with a hand saw, then maybe get an electric saw, and so on and so forth. And trust me, I'm no expert. So if I was just laughing, because I recently drilled through the wall and actually drilled into electrical wire, and we had no power.
And then you continued your training of electrical installation, learning on the job.
Yeah, and I was able to phone a friend, and I actually managed to fix it without calling out an electrician. And now, looking in this room where it happened, you wouldn't even tell that I had drilled through electrical wire in the wall. So start small and work your way up. Every time you do something new, you know, whether it's painting or learning how to fill holes, the sky's the limit really. And before long you'll get the bug, and you'll want to save all of that hard-earned cash and beautify your home to add value. So there you have it guys, our ground floor renovation project is finally over, and we're so happy with how it's all turned out. Now like I said, in a future video I'll do a little sit down video talking about all of the costs, because trust me, it's so expensive to do building work these days, and you know, I think sharing that might actually help you have a better idea of what things like this actually cost. Now if you're new to the channel guy, or you stumbled upon us searching through YouTube as you often do, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. We always do our family vlog as well as some personal finance tips and loads of DIY projects to help you and your family save money.
So thank you so much for your support along the journey. It's been weeks and weeks, and as I said earlier, it's been so nice to see the whole complete renovation, especially as I wasn't well. So for now, this is Kenroy and Sapphire saying, I'll see you when you see me.
Take care guys.
Some juice, sorry.
We were meant to be talking about the door, so I'm going to take over now, okay? So first things first.